Hey guys, thanks for coming and sitting down with me today. I really appreciate you giving me a little bit of your time. I'm going to do my best to try to inform you about an organization that is going to be very near and dear to my heart. Okay, that organization is the Salvation Army. Now, as a lot of us know, because we're all adults, the world can be a very terrible place, filled with, some really awful people. Most people, I feel like humanity is gone and we just walk away. But there are those few that try to leave this world a better place than how they found it. So this charitable organization is founded by William and Catherine Booth, husband and wife. The idea was to help the poor, the destitute, and the hungry meet both their physical and their spiritual needs. Now, what is the Salvation Army? When was it formed? Did they meet resistance? And what do they do today that we can see? So let's start from the beginning. Commonly known as the TSA, and no, not those people in the airport. The Salvation Army was founded in 1865. So 19th century England, when we think of 19th century England, because that's their birthplace, we often think of prosperity, royalty, and elegance. If you think about England today, you probably think about the royal wedding, Princess Diana, or all the other great things, crown jewels, their rich history, so on and so forth. But often, with prosperity, royalty, and elegance, you'll also find poverty, oppression, and hardship, because you can't have one truly without the other. Why? Well, in 19th century England, there was a population explosion. No one really knows why, but they feel like a few attributing factors was, one, this is important, immigration, and not like the immigration that we think of today. Two, longer longevity. People were living to an old age. And three, child survivability was increasing because of medicine. Now I said 1, 2, and 3. So let's kind of go into immigration. Let's talk about the Industrial Revolution. In 19th century England, we found they had an Industrial Revolution. And I know what you're thinking, how could that be bad? How could the Industrial Revolution be bad? That's jobs, it's money. Usually with money means that families prosper. Healthcare goes up, families go up. But the problem lies with the immigration. People immigrated to the cities that had the jobs. And with those people that immigrated, the towns had to grow. But in those days, the towns didn't grow fast enough to support all these people. So what happens when you have a huge populace of people in a small, limited number of houses? Well, cost of living was unimaginable and unsustainable. An author of the time, Kilo Chesney, referred to 19th century England in these areas as, and I'm going to quote it, hideous slums, some an acre wide, some no more than crannies of obscure misery, and make up a substantial part of a metropolis in big, once handsome houses. 30 or more people of all ages would inhabit a single room. That's not a house, it's a room in a house. Bad. So we know that 19th century England was a pretty dark place, and kind of understand why it was a dark place. But oftentimes in darkness, light shines the brightest. So born in 1829, William Booth became a Methodist. A little later in life, he was originally a pawnbroker. He preached and helped his local community, and later, him and his wife would decide to move to London with the idea of growing and helping more people. In 1865, they began working with a group of Christian businessmen who were interested in trying to raise up because they were concerned with the poor in their communities. They would refer to themselves as the Christian ministry. In 1878, the Christian ministry would be referred to as a volunteer army. William Booth didn't like that. He didn't like the idea of a volunteer army. He said, we're a Salvation Army. Hence the name would change. So when we think of 19th century England, We know that it's a dark place. We know that there's a lot of bad things. And we know that the boost is about to try to make it better for those people that didn't have anything. Why would anyone oppose them, right? They're just trying to be good. Well, in 1883, there was a great little town called Worthing. It was a seaside town. It was growing because of tourism, because of the Industrial Revolution, because of money. Now with tourism, other things follow as well, like alcoholism. Remember the whole spiritual idea? Saving you from the demons of your own self? In Worthing was beautiful. It was a great place, but alcohol was starting to take over. With the growing number of alcoholic beverages being brought in by tourists, we found broken homes, public intoxication, also known as drunkenness, and the rise of domestic violence. The Salvation Army decided that they would move there, set up headquarters, and try to fight this, try to push their mission. And they had opposition. People actually led themselves to be called the Skeleton Army of Worthing because they didn't feel the need to be saved. They didn't feel there was anything wrong with them. They thought everything was fine. And so these people not only attacked them, but killed certain members of the Salvation Army. Why did the Salvation Army not just leave? It's a great question, right? I mean, you go there and you help somebody, and they fight you, they attack you, they try to kill you. Why not leave? Because they weren't just interested in feeding your body, they were interested in trying to nourish your soul. It was important to them. Fight those demons, help you. So Linda Bond, she's general of the Salvation Army in 2012. This is one thing she stated. And again, why do they meet resistance? Alcoholism is one thing, but we all know that faith is a little hard. You either have it or you don't have it, right? And the people that don't have it, they don't like it. So let's listen to a quote from Linda Bond. This is what she said about her taking over. I think an army on its knees is an army that says, we're prepared to do anything, Lord, but we need you. That's not all she did. Linda Bond actually went ahead and created a national prayer time. Now I know you're thinking, how can you have a national prayer time? But it's separated by territories, from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. The idea was everybody in a certain time zone could come together and pray for a common good. The idea here was that if you have enough bodies of people praying for the same thing, you could accomplish the impossible. I kind of know who opposed them, kind of know why they might oppose them. But what good do they really do? And it's kind of hard because, I mean, how many times have you read about a charity that does all this good but really doesn't do anything? You read about it, you hear about it, but how do you really know it's doing anything? Well, the TSA, or the Salvation Army, is preaching in 80 countries. That's a lot. They preach in 112 languages. I didn't even know there was 112 languages. It's pretty wild. There's 16,000 evangelical centers you can go to. That means pretty much anywhere in the world you go, you could go to one of their evangelical centers and pray if you wanted to. Or if you needed help, you could go there and get help. The Salvation Army also has 3,000 social welfare institutions. Now, social welfare institutions, that's kind of a big word. What is a social welfare institution? They're commonly referred to as hospitals, schools, food banks, and shelters for homeless or people with addictions. Trying to stay true to the mission of 1865. Feed and house the poor. So they do so much around the world. They were founded in England. They're a huge organization. But what do they do here? What can we see? Again, unless you go to those countries, how do you really know they exist? How do you really know they're helping anybody? Well, what you really need to do is go around the corner. So, one, they fight hunger. How do they fight hunger? They have 3 ways. 1, food pantries. I'm sure everybody's heard of a food bank. 2, they have meal programs similar to Meals on Wheels. This is more for people that are disabled, elderly, or have small children and don't have transportation. In larger cities, they even have community gardens. So you can go, plant your own vegetables, live an organic life even if you can't afford to buy organic produce. That's pretty cool, if you ask me. But what else is really good? What else do they really help with? How many of you have had some form of addiction hurt someone close to you? I'm guessing everybody in this room knows somebody. Well, if you pull out your GPS and go to 1625 South Central Avenue in Phoenix, Arizona, you'll find a building. That building's a little unique because that building is the Arizona chapter where it's drug and alcohol rehabilitation. And it's not like your traditional standard drug rehabilitation. You go there, you check in, it doesn't cost you a penny. They feed you, they clothe you, they get you off of the drugs. And then they teach you a skill. And they help you build a resume, and they help you find a job. Because the idea isn't just to help you, it's to continue helping you so you can help yourself. Not just fight the addiction, not just get you cured so that you fall back in the same hole so that you start using again. Build you up. We learned about a great organization. They help a lot of people. They build spirits all over the world, all walks of life, in so many different ways. We talked about the history, who founded them, what they've done to fight, who fought against them, maybe why they fought against them too. And we talked about what they do today to help improve the lives of those people around, people around us. Maybe somebody in this room is going to fight about it. You don't know. The world can be an awful place. It's so true. But if there's one thing I want you to take away from this, there's one thing that you learn today, it's that one person can make a difference. Because they did. So be the difference. I ask you to be the next William or Catherine Booth if you can, even if it's just in a small way. It is so much to help everybody. You've all seen the red kettles. I know you have. If you go at any time around the holidays, the red kettles exist, right? You hear the dinging of the bell, you see the people standing there talking with a big smile on their face, asking you to donate to a worthy cause. Do you know that 82 cents of every dollar donated goes directly to help those people that need it? How many other charities can say that they only collect 18 cents of every dollar that's collected for their overhead? It's pretty impressive if you ask me. So that's feeding people, that's clothing people, it's also buying Christmas presents for kids. That's pretty humble. So I thank you so much for sitting here today. I hope that wasn't too bad. And if you don't mind, I'd like a couple questions.
For alcohol rehabilitation or drugs,
Mm-hmm.
do you, when they need to find a job, do you provide transportation? Do they
Yes.
help them?
They do. They'll even employ them if they need to. They don't have any work experience. Personal story, a good friend of mine, his older brother was bad on drugs. Went into that same center, that's how I know about it. They taught him how to drive a truck. And then they employed him. And then after he was employed for a little while, he went and found a different job because it's not meant to be your forever job. But it gives you work experience.
And then how about people who are on the streets who have disabilities and they didn't have that family, so that's why they're homeless? Do they help them engage in for people skills to get them on their feet when
Yes.
they didn't have that?
Yes, that's a great question. Yes, they do have homeless shelters that are there to help the disadvantaged, and they do have programs for people that are disabled. They'll also help you get with the normal social programs that your city, state, or county might have. So they don't just help you, they'll help find someone else who will help you as well.
Where do they get all their funding?
Donations. They also have stores. You've probably seen them around. They're similar to like Goodwills. If you go in there, a lot of them are manned by volunteers. Things that are donated to them are sold to those stores so that they can fund these great opportunities and programs for people. Any other questions?
When I look here, I donate my stuff to Salvation Army.
You're an awesome lady.
So is Phoenix one of the biggest charters, or what's the biggest charter? Or or organize, I guess, where's the biggest Salvation Army charter in the world? Or
That's a great question. I don't know size-wise, which is the actual biggest, but if I had to guess, I would say London. The reason why is because that's where their headquarters is. So if you wanted to find like the general of the Salvation Army, who's the top person, which by the way makes less than $30,000 a year, and they run one of the biggest charities in the world, they're in London.
it's amazing that they're as big as they are, as long as they've been around, that they don't have many more. You know what I mean? Like in Phoenix, for example, it's the 6th largest city in the United States. They have one facility.
Well, they have one drug facility.
Oh, okay.
There's hundreds of campuses all over the
Okay, so that-
Arizona area. But if you were to do the drug rehab, they have that one facility because it's quite expensive.
Yeah.
What other facilities are there besides the drug, you know, medication?
So there's evangelical centers we can go to and pray. There's also the social programs like the homeless shelters. There's also the food banks. And of course there's the more of the business centers, which is where they run their operations.
Yeah, when I moved here, they actually sent the guys and they came up the stairs and they took all the furniture out, loaded it all up and carried it all the way up and down the stairs. And they were absolutely wonderful.
It's a great organization, guys. If you ever want to donate, that's not Christmas time, you can go to redkettles.org and donate money to help, families.
Great information.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.